Hello, how's it going? FuckTube, people of planet Earth, aliens, wherever the fuck you're from. How's it going? This video is about astral traveling and lucid dreaming, what it feels like, why it happens, just because why the fuck not is interesting. Let me know if you ever have any experience with astral traveling, lucid dreaming in the comments, because yeah, it's very real and it's very fun. So astral traveling is basically where your astral body, your soul, your spirit, your energy leaves this physical 3D where your body is and goes to travel different veils, different realms. That's what astral traveling is. Now lucid dreaming is where you can control your dreams but you're not leaving your body. So lucid dreaming is like an inner experience, whereas astral traveling is like an out-of-body experience. Energy is permanent. Energy doesn't die, it just transforms. Like, our time on this earth is temporary, however our energy, what is inside us, carries on living. It just transforms states. And what happens when we die? The exact thing that we do when we astral travel. Our soul leaves our body. Some people can control it and decide what happens, when they do it, where they go. Other people, it's random. But I will say that every single person is capable of astral traveling, and you can train yourself to be able to control it. These are just a few experiences of the most profound times that I've astral traveled and remembered it. I'll start off with when I was a kid. I was living at my granny and granddad's house, and I was probably about like 3, 4 or 5, and they say that kids under 7 are more in touch with the spiritual realm because they've not yet been like contaminated by all the bullshit that we think humanity comes along with. So they're more connected to the veils. The veils are more thin for kids 7 and under, that's what they say. But yeah, I was probably about 3, 4 or 5, and every night after I went to sleep, I used to go downstairs and I used to open the living room window and I used to jump out of it and fly away. And the thing is like, you could be like, this is just a dream, whatever, but it was so real. Every night I would literally go and jump out the window. I felt like the wind, I felt everything like it was really happening, and then I would tell people about it. I'd be like, yeah, like at night when you're asleep, I go downstairs and I fly out of the window and I go on adventures. And obviously everyone was like, oh, like vivid imagination. Like, no one really knew what astral traveling was then, I guess. Like, it's definitely become more accepted in the last few years. So yeah, that was the first times that I remember experiencing leaving my body. I always remember that because it was it literally happened, and I always wondered why people didn't believe me. And there was loads of like fields near their gaff, and I just remember like all the horses like at night, and I'd like look over them. It's pretty cool. The second time is when I was maybe like 13, and I was getting up for school. I like learning, I just don't like being indoctrinated. So I wasn't waking up, so my mum came in. I'm gonna be late, motherfucker. And I wasn't waking up, like it was literally like I was gone, there was no one in there. So she starts shaking me, and all I remember is like being in the sky, like not in my body, and I'm thinking to myself, you need to get back to Molly because Molly's needed in that 3D realm now, ASAP. So all I remember is that coming to my mind, and then I was in the light because it was morning, obviously. I was in the light and I fucking flew so fast down through the clouds. I could feel it. I was there. I was like a bird. I was flying down past the clouds, and then I got to my body. It was like a massive like breath of like electric energy, and then I woke up and my mum was like, what the fuck, you were gone, you weren't there. And I told her what happened, but I couldn't really explain it. But I was just flying, like I was just outside in the sky flying. Yeah, I've never really been able to control where I go, or what I do. I know what's happening and I know what it is. Like when I was flying out the window, I knew what was happening and I knew that I wanted to do it. but I don't remember being able to control, whereas some people can. There's a few ways that I've heard that can help teach you to be able to leave your body. So like when you go to sleep, lie down, like just imagine counting with your fingers and like picturing them in front of you when your eyes are shut. Another thing you can do is picture your gaff but with your eyes shut, and it kind of trains your mind to like be active while your eyes are shut, I think. I've never really tried it that way because it's kind of involuntary when I do it, but I want to learn how to control it because that would be sick as fuck. I lucid dream a lot, and the difference is that lucid dreaming is like internal, so it's actually a dream. But when I'm lucid dreaming, I'm consciously aware, and in most of them I can fly and I can choose where I go and I can choose when I fly. So I can just take off and fucking fly. It's brilliant, it's so fun. And you can kind of choose what happens in the dreams, and sometimes it's weird because weird shit happens, but you know it's happening and it's weird. But yeah, most of the time in those lucid dreams I fly because that's what I like to do. Sometimes I like get really confused because obviously I know why I can't, but I get confused as to why when I'm awake in this body, why can't I fly? But then when I'm in my mind I can. It gets confusing because it's like two different worlds, but they're so together, like they overlap so much that sometimes it's hard to it's hard to function in this 3D reality because it's so removed from the spiritual world, and it really shouldn't be. Like we are spirits with meat sack vessels getting us about this earth. Like we should be spiritual before we care about the three-dimensional stuff like fucking material shit and like greed, money, whatever it is. We're so removed from it and we shouldn't be, but we're getting back there. More people are opening their eyes to certain things like the Matrix and realizing that the Matrix is literally their thoughts. Like the way out of the Matrix is going in. You're not part of the program, you're the programmer. I'll say it one more time. You're not part of the program, you're the motherfucking programmer. And it's motherfucking true. Everything's frequency, everything's mind state, point of view. I've got another video coming on that soon. This is my book. It's fucking... all my drawings got wet. But they look kind of cool wet. They look like trippy and weird. But yeah, that's my fucking very important professional book that my notes are in. Looks like your nan mate. And I've got another example of like a really profound time when I left my body, and this time was on psychedelics. But anyway, on this particular time, I've got a story time about this if you want to listen to it. Me and my brother became telepathic, like fully telepathic. And it turns out that for most of the night I was actually conversing with his shadow self. The 97% of our brains that are subconscious, that we don't know we know about, they're like the powerhouse of our brain. I became telepathic with my brother's subconscious mind for a couple hours. But on this same night, I left my body and I could see everything from above. Like I was literally an entity in space, and I could see everything from above. And I was completely aware that I wasn't in my body, and so I was in the sky doing whatever, but I was also having to control my 3D body, so it looked like that I didn't just like sign out, like you know in a video game when the person signs out and it's just like, well, like I can't have that happen to my body because I'm at a party and everyone's gonna think like what's going on. So I was controlling my body from above and like just telling it to like fucking move occasionally so it didn't look like I was dead or like tweaking out, which I'm always tweaking, but it's nice to pretend you're not sometimes, eh? And yeah, I could fully control my body from above, and I knew that I wasn't in it. So, and I've written this down because, yeah. Dreams are created by the brain, driven by increased brain activity, emotional processing, and neural stimulation. Because in REM sleep, chemicals like dopamine get increased, which boosts electrical activity, stimulating emotional centers in the brain. Theories suggest that dreams are our way of sorting through things that happen to us on the daily in our lives, and also they transfer emotional regulation and processing. So that's our way of like sorting through what we've done, regulating our emotions, processing what's happened. Threat simulation theory, so like if you ever like scrap in a dream and then wake up, maybe that's your brain like going through threats that could happen and then just like putting them in your brain when you sleep just in case. And also your brain is very loud, maybe you need to escape, that's also a reason. Here are some common catalysts for intense dreams. Stress and anxiety, if you're sleep deprived, eating before bed, pregnancy, and certain medications. They're all catalysts for why people could dream intensely. Here are catalysts for why people lucid dream. And it says a combination of higher cognitive abilities, distinct brain connectivity, active prefrontal cortex, heightened awareness, can be used as a coping mechanism. Lucid dreamers are often very creative. So I don't know if that falls under your category, but maybe if you lucid dream, astral travel, have very vivid dreams, maybe you fall into that category. So yeah, I just find it interesting. And the fact that what happens when we die, our brain releases dimethyltryptamine, which we can make naturally through breath work when we die. You can also like buy it and take it. But yeah, our brain produces dimethyltryptamine, and I feel like that's like a love chemical that lets our energy, our soul leave our body for the last time. But what if we can learn to control astral traveling in this plane, then what if we could control our astral body when we die? How that would work. But yeah, it's very interesting. And I don't know if it runs in families or not, but like my dad has always been able to astral travel. I'm not sure why some people are more in tune to it than others, but everyone can fucking do it. Everyone can train themselves to do it. There's a lot of like frequencies. There's a war on energy, and the powers that be want to keep people's energies closed off, their energy fields closed off, and their frequencies low, and that keeps them disconnected from the spirit world. It also keeps people easier to control and easier to brainwash, manipulate, and if you can keep people on a fear frequency, that also does the same thing. It keeps their energy field closed off, easy to indoctrinate, and that's what the powers that be want for people. They don't want us to be connected to our spirits, they want us to be connected to the matrix. So I feel like there's a lot of powers that be that are kind of fucking with access to the spiritual world, but so many people are waking up, and I think those people that are already connected to the astral planes that the indoctrination and manipulation doesn't work on, those people are here, and there's more of us that are rising and more of us that the manipulation doesn't work on. I don't know if it might also be to do with neurodivergence, because the system was designed to indoctrinate neurotypical minds, and so if you're neurodivergent like myself, you just see things from a different perspective anyway. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just me telling a few stories of times. Yeah. I'm gonna start making more story times like this more regularly. Yeah. Laters.